What's the haps? I'm John, aka Meroka, and welcome to Spiel. So I am in, where am I? I am in Dark King Tier 3 on Advanced, which is Fiends, because I don't know. I never do them, you know. About time I mixed things up and had a change and all that. And I like how the path is... Is that what it's currently on, or is that what... Like, it can't be the path I've taken, because I haven't taken it, I just jumped straight in. Yeah, weird. Okay, so, yeah, let's get started. Let's go fight some fiendies, because I never do that. I do when it's like missions and stuff, but I tend to avoid them the rest of the time, so... Oh, there's cats anyway. That's okay, I can deal with cats. So, why don't we kick things off today with the Spiral Knights news? The Spiral Knights news. Just because I fancy starting with that today. So, Winterfest. Winterfest is fairly imminent, I think. I suspect. Perhaps, maybe. Certainly, on the, as is usual for acquiring Spiral Knights news, the social feeds, your Facebooks and the like. Spiral Knights yesterday posted a teaser image of Imposter Claus, isn't it? Yeah, the Jelly Santa guy, and with a message attached saying soon. So yeah, soon. I mean, I can't tell you exactly how soon, but if I was a gambler man, I would say probably I don't know, today. Updates tend to go out on Wednesdays. It is Wednesday, and at time of recording this has not gone out, but I would very much suspect that by the time this video goes live, the update will very likely have already landed, and I will be in the middle of recording something to show it off. Because this was not explicitly listed in the post, but if you went down and read the comments below the picture that they posted, someone then asked, I guess it'd be Eurydice that runs the social feeds. Where am I looking? There must be a switch somewhere. There it is. Okay. Eurydice then answered the guy. The guy said, "Will there be new content?" And she was like, "Yes." Well, a little bit more cagey than just yes, but did answer the question. Is this Winterfest will not be the same as the last Winterfest, was the explicit answer. Okay, there's the fiends. Okay. Right. Good job I brought one of these guys along. Out of here. No! No! No healing. Ow. Okay. Might be best just to do that. Okay, and that's the fiends down. Good, 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 good. So, new content confirmed. Now, bear in mind that new content is a vague thing at best. It may be that there's one extra hat, it may be that there's an entirely new mission. I cannot say one way or another. That's at this stage in time. All I know is there's something that will be in this Winterfest that was not in the last Winterfest, so that's something, eh? Something to look out for. Oh, okay. I'm going to... Can I get away from the cats while I can deal with the fiends? Fiends are more a problem. Although, maybe not. Cats are hitting me more than the other guys, I think. So yeah, don't necessarily hold your breath, but I think there'll be. I'm hoping there will be something good. You know, they've been pretty good about giving us new content of late, so I'm hoping this will continue the trend. So that is about it for your Spiral Knights news. Probably Winterfest. I would suggest possibly today. If not today, pretty much guaranteed next week then, isn't it? So get ready to do all your save Christmas or whatever it is, save Winterfest missions, which is usual. Go collect presents and run back and forth, which is a nice twist. It's a different type of mission, not one you normally see in the game. It's cool. Okay, I have no idea what to expect in this room. This is one of those pre-scripted rooms, but I genuinely feel like I haven't seen this place before, so I don't know. Oh, he's dead. Yeah. Oh, okay, great. I'm trapped in with cats. Good. Let's kill them then. Well, while we're trapped, and I can strategically blast them all through with a full-on blitz blast. There we go. Oh, brutal. Nice. Who's still alive? There must be some still around. Oh, he's over there. Okay. Pow! In your face. So, I pointed out last week that Button Mash 7 was a thing that was happening. And instead of taking a week off from content, I actually carried on making content last week. That was probably foolish because I was sick as a dog all week. In fact, you can probably still hear I'm still slightly bleh, but the show must go on. And I am a professional showman, and my show will go on. I'm not well. Define professional. Oh, that was a good hit. It took both fiends out at the right time, so neither of them changed forms. That was good. Now, where are you guys? Stuck in the wall, I guess. Ow. So yeah, if I still sound a bit congested, that's kinda 'cause I am. I have no idea how to fix that. It's not going away anytime soon, it seems like. When I came down ill, presumably last Wednesday, because I had a sore throat all day, and then I've just been ill since, which really sucks, and I wish it would go away, because I need my voice to be functional in order to do this thing that I do, which is talking into a microphone every day. But until then, sorry, my voice is going to be a little bit weird. Oh well, sorry. So, yeah, Button Mash 7, in spite of dealing with my illness throughout the thing, that was a fun experience, it was good. It wasn't anywhere near as big as the last one, and we still had the issue that we had very little in the way of tabletop gaming content, which seems like some people are expecting. I mean, we advertised it as a thing, and then it wasn't much of a thing. I've been surprised by how much demand there is actually for it, to be honest. I didn't realise the tabletop gaming scene in Bradford was as big as it actually is. There's plenty of people turn up and go, so okay, so where's all the tabletop games? And we're like, we've got a few card games, and this time we found a box of Mousetrap, which I'm genuinely impressed someone took the time to set up, because jeez, that thing's complicated. Just to build, I don't think it's particularly complex to play, but to build the entire thing, that setup. I got the box out, I was like, alright, I'll set it up for them so it's all ready to go, so someone can play a game. And I opened the box like, whoa, nope, do not want, no, I'm going to be here for hours if I do this, so if someone wants to play it, they can set it up themselves. So, it turns out someone did. That's amazing. Someone actually sat and spent time setting up the entire Mousetrap thing. Actually, I think there was like a few of them from what I heard. Someone said, yeah, there's like 4 of them all sat building all the bits, so... A team effort. If your game requires a team of 4 people to assemble, maybe your game is too complicated. just saying, you know. If 4 people are required just to build all the bits in order to play your board game. Simplify, man! Simplify! My god. So, I missed that, but I would have been very pleased to have seen people playing that. So, we're going to have to invest in board games in the future. Although, again, these people that say, they say, oh, we got loads of them, we would have brought them down if we'd known. Well, we do ask ahead of time if you want to bring stuff. Please bring stuff. Stuff is good. Okay, let's see what I can do with the Blitz here. Can I do some damage with the Blitz? Ow. Right. Yes, that's 3 of them dead. That's a good start. That's what I wanted. Yes. And the cat. Does the cat want to die? Yes, it does. There we go. So, yeah, board games are very much our weak spot as far as running these events goes. We're definitely going to invest in some more, I think. If we're going to have to tally up, see what money we made out of it, and spend it on things like Settlers of Catan, I guess. And when this poison leaves me, I'm going to take a pill. There we go. And kill all the little guys. Ow. And kill him, because he's attacking fast. Yikes. And he's got no one working under him, so he goes back. Turns out, I have been educated on this, turns out some of the Fiend's hierarchy, their office structure, or management and all that, is based on proximity, certainly as far as yes men go, so it's if you kill the boss while the yes man is near it, they'll turn into the overtimer and stuff like that. So, okay. I now understand yes men a little better. Can I not hit that? Damn it. I'll throw a jar at it. So we had quite a surprising guest at Button Mash, one I had not expected to meet. I hadn't expected anyone noteworthy to turn up. It turns out, the guy who made FTL, if you are familiar with the indie gaming scene, as I am, FTL is a sort of spaceship management roguelike-y kind of thing. I own it. I must confess I haven't actually got around to playing it, to be honest, but I'm very familiar with it. I'm aware lots of people have played it. It's a fairly noteworthy game as far as it goes. And the guy who made it lives in turns out he lives in Bradford, or one of the guys who made it. And he turned out and was like, oh yeah, I made FTL. Maybe you've heard of it. I'm like, yes, I've heard of FTL. You have made a very, very noteworthy game here. So, he was a really good guy. I enjoyed talking to him, and he also is an enthusiast of the tabletop games, of which we were lacking, and he expressed his disappointment that we didn't have more. So, chatted to him for a while about what sort of thing we could put on, and I think the general upshot of that is that we would like to start some sort of tabletop gaming society in Bradford, so I've left that in his hands. Hopefully that's going to be a thing that we see, because that'd be pretty cool. Having a tabletop gaming society run in Bradford by a guy who knows his stuff. Yep. Do want. So, streaming at the event. There was a small demand for streaming. At least one person asked for it. And yeah, I wasn't prepared very well in advance, to be honest. It's something I had asked my colleagues to make sure they'd got set up and ready to go. I brought all the equipment down to do it, and I said, can you make sure you've got all this software, all these drivers, all this sorted for tomorrow? They did not. So by the time we actually got around to getting it going, it was kind of panic in the middle of the mashup, and you got like the last 10 seconds of it, and it was on the Xbox, so we couldn't actually stream any Xbox footage. That's the wrong pill. That's the pill I wanted. So it was just about 10 seconds of seeing people looking at a monitor, a TV, whatever. Oh, excuse me, yes, cough getting the better of me. Yikes. Yeah, so that wasn't anywhere near as interesting or spectacular as we hoped. Also, by the time we got it running, things were starting to wind down a little. I think a lot of people wanted to leave after the mashup. As soon as the mashup was over, it's a younger audience, so by that point it was like, okay, we need to be getting off now, so they were heading off. And it was just a handful of stragglers that stayed till the very bitter end. I like those guys. I like people who stay to the bitter end, but it's not worth keeping the venue open for like less than half a dozen people, unfortunately. By that point, the venue owner's going, okay, there's no one here. Can we close? I'm like, no, there's people still here. Come on, we should stay open. But it's like, no, you've got half a dozen people and too busy playing video games to be buying drinks at the bar. So, can we please close? I was like, all right. So yeah, what colour do I want? I want none of those colours. I'll have a red. It's pathetic, that is. So that's that. That's Button Mash. We've now got the software and all the drivers and all the things doing. So hopefully streaming should be a thing that we can do better next time. We should hopefully actually make that happen properly for Button Mash 8. There will be a Button Mash 8. We made enough money off of it to afford to do another one. So yeah, so we're going to be doing that. As for when that's going to happen, hard to say. Oh god, phone going off. Don't know if you can hear that in the background, probably. Yeah. Had a suggestion from the venue owner of February to do an anti-Valentine's Day thing. I'm not sure how cool I am with that idea. It's not an awful idea, but it's, I was just thinking Loadouts, but it's still Fiends, isn't it? It's still fine, yeah. I'm not sure how cool I am with that idea. It's just a little too soon for our liking, I think. I think a lot of people were stressed about how soon this one was after the last one, given that we didn't plan it that well. The problem, I think it wouldn't have been too soon if we'd planned it well, but we never do, ever, anything. Okay. Sudden music changed, but nothing spawned. What's interesting and noteworthy about this level? What am I to... Okay, hi. This level seems interesting, but I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what's going down here. Okay. It's again, it's one of the pre-scripted kind of levels. It's not a random thing. But I don't think I've been... If I have been here before, it's been a very long time. It's Stygian Steeds is the level, and... I couldn't tell you what that entailed offhand. Ow! Damn you. Acquire that pill. Acquire more pills. I'm down to 2, okay. I don't know, all seems so far so now. It's really weird that that one party switch triggered the music at the start. It's like, what's that all about? Don't know, okay. Let's pop this and see what happens. That's what happens, you all get shot with a blitz needle. And you stop getting healed. And you stop getting healed. And you stop healing. Okay. Nope. Right, there we go. So, as I almost, but didn't quite segue into at the start of the level, loadouts. Had someone ask about loadouts. Life Wurgi, who has asked questions before, no big deal, I don't mind people asking. Yeah, you apologised for asking too many questions. Seriously, you do realise nearly all the questions I've ever answered have been from pretty much one guy. It's like you've asked nowhere near as many questions as Gnomes ever has, but that's good. Now I like questions. Don't feel bothered about asking any number of questions because they're all good. I like having things to talk about. So talk about loadouts, please. I'm confused about what gear to wear in what situation. Was the question. I'm maybe not the best person to ask about it because look at me. I'm running around getting myself killed here. I'm hardly the best veteran at this game to ask about specific gear, but I can certainly go over a few basics and what I know, I guess. So, I almost feel patronising to do this, but I guess, does everybody not know this? The damage types in the game, okay. So, yeah, everything is split into piercing, elemental, and shadow resistance. In lower levels you have less to be concerned about that. In tier 2 you can partially concern yourself with it. In tier 3 everything's dealing a lot of that damage, so you need to be focusing on. For example, these fiends are going to deal pretty heavy shadow damage, so you're going to need your shadow resist gear. If you have any other resistant gear, it won't work. So in my case I'm wearing my Heavenly Iron Helm, which is heavy shadow resistance, and although I may appear to be wearing Skulver, that's just my costume. Underneath this I've got Divine Mantle, which is a hybrid elemental and shadow defense. So between the two items I've got half normal defense, which isn't... Let me pop a pill. Which isn't going to stop much damage around here because it's not going to be a lot of normal damage. It's in tier 3, so it's mostly going to be pure damage types. The elemental is going to do sod all. None of these enemies on this level are going to be dealing elemental damage, so that's pretty much wasted. And then both of them deal shadow, so I'm going to have quite high shadow, which is important, because I'm facing shadow enemies. So obviously both the types of enemies I'm encountering on this level all deal shadow damage. You got your fiends, which are your devilites, they don't deal damage, but the little butterflies that heal, they classify as fiends. Grievers are fiends, and... what's the other one? There is another one. Gorgos are fiends. Those are the main ones that are going to that are dealing shadow damage as fiends. The the undead are dealing shadow damage, but the two types have their different weaknesses, so you'll want different weapons. This both have the same... You need to wear the same resistance against undead and fiends, but you'll need different weapons to deal with both, which is why I'm bringing Piercing, for that is good against fiends, and I'm bringing Elemental, for that is good against undead. So, as it happens, if I go into my loadouts, have a quick nosy at them, I've got my loadout that I've probably mentioned this on many a times in the past. It is my Paladin loadout, which is just my general catch-all term for fighting fiends and undead. It's fighting the forces of evil generally. It's paladin. It's got my voltage, which is my elemental weapon. It's got my barbarous thornblade, which is my piercing weapon, and it doesn't have. I've got a trinket and weapon slot at the minute, so I'm bringing extra stuff. But though that gear generally sees me through. I've got a shadow-resistant shield, a shadow-resistant armor, armor and helmet. So that covers that. If you're going up against my deconstructor is kind of my gremlin and machine one. What's it? Constructs. That's the one. Deconstructor. So that's got. I've got a shadow weapon for that is effective against gremlins. I've got a elemental weapon for that is effective against constructs, and both of those enemies deal elemental damage, so we've got elemental resistance going on there. I've got the elemental shield in the grey owlite. My divine mantle, as I've already mentioned, is a hybrid shadow and elemental, so I wear that for both sets. And Vogcub is my go-to elemental resistance. Beasts and jellies I tend to deal with separately. I've got Jellybane here, I tend to bring a shadow sword because that messes up pretty well, and Polaris just to have a different type of damage. So I've got an elemental gun in there just for backup in case I run into something that can't be killed with a shadow sword. And jellies and beasts both deal piercing damage, so you'll want piercing resistance. Skulver is a good option, Mercurial is a good option. Mercurial is a great option because it lets you run faster. And Barbarous Thorn Shield is also a pretty nice piercing resist one, especially if you're a sword user, because you also get the sword damage bonus out of it. What else have I got? So I've got my Beast Slayer there is obviously very, very similar. The difference is I bring my Barbarous Thornblade instead of Acheron. I've got a few other specific loadouts, which again, this is at this point you're getting specialized loadouts, and it's tailoring it to, you know, specific situations. My Compound 42 is awful, actually, I think, probably. Yeah, I haven't updated that in a long time, I don't think, actually. Especially judging by the fact that it doesn't have a sprite in the equipment. Yeah, most of these specialized ones that don't have sprites, you know, these are from before there were sprites. And I have Skulver in there, which is awful. Compound 42 is an interesting one. I used to go with the idea of Vog for fire and Skulver for piercing, and that's just awful. It's pretty bad. Most of the damage you're going to take in Compound 42 is fire. It's best just to stack fire resistance. I'm not well versed on resistances, but I am aware that if you stack enough of the stuff, you can make yourself fairly resistant to something. So if you have 2 pieces of fire resistant gear and a fire resistance trinket when you go into Compound 42, you won't actually set on fire much at all, which is actually quite a nice state of affairs to be in. So that's always worth trying your luck at. So I should probably remake that specific loadout. Other stuff, a lot of people obviously are coming up with PvP stuff, but I know very little about PvP, so do not ask me about a PvP loadout. I really wouldn't know much about that. I've kind of got my Almaya one, which is pretty much just my Vanaduke loadout, but I also tend to apply it to, what else? Where else do I take that? Whatever the danger mission is. What's the danger mission called? I can't remember. Legion. Is it on here? Legion of Almaya, it is there. I was going to say Legion of Almaya, and then something that sounded wrong in my head. No, Legion of Almaya. Although I have been shouted at before for bringing a blitz to Legion of Almaya, so take that as you will. I guess I'm not that clever. So what else have I got in here? I've got Heart of Ice. Does not have that's very much out of date, I suspect. I think Snarbalak's cap is Shadow because there's a lot of Undead and Fiends, I think, in that level. I'm not sure, it's been a long... I don't do danger missions anywhere near as often as I should, really. Yeah, I've got freeze resistance on Skulver, freeze resistance on Snarbalaks, and Crest of Almaya. I don't have any freeze resistance shields, so I don't have much option there. I've just got as much freeze resistance as I can possibly have. I've got my Apocrypha loadout, which was obviously for Apocrypha. I don't anymore, because I don't use this anymore because there's no Apocrypha anymore. But Heavenly Iron, Shadow, Divine is Shadow, Crest of Almaya is Shadow, lots and lots of shadow damage going on in there. I've got the Warmaster Rocket Hammer is quite nice for clearing out those groups of ghosties, Barbarous Thornblade, because because I have no idea why I did bring that. I'm sure there was a good reason. Obsidian carbine was probably because I was heating it up for the most part, actually. It was good for breaking rocks as well, if you want to break this things. Anyway, that's a little out of date. That's my loadouts. If you want to know more about statuses, there are much better people versed to speak about statuses, because they are an important part of planning your loadout, but I'm not the one to speak about them. If you look up Zeddy on the forums, and in-game, presumably, I imagine he must play the game, he's got a big spreadsheet that tells you all about how all the statuses work for everything in the game. And if you can wrap your head around it, which I should note, I can't, I keep looking at it and I'm like, this is like looking at the Matrix. I could really use a little bit of a, just a little bit of a text at the side that says, this is how you use this chart, because most of it's just pages and pages and pages of numbers. If you can figure out how it all works, you can see how much resistance you need to do stuff, and certainly if you tune into the Arsenal podcast over on sklayelite.com, they do stuff every Sunday evening over here. It's afternoon in the US. If you tune into them, they cover a lot of stuff on statuses every week at the minute. So go back through the last few weeks. They got segments on this is how the statuses work. Lasson Sklay knows a hell of a lot more about how they all work than I do, certainly. And yeah, again, even listening to him explain it, I'm still like, I'm still not getting any of this. It's a ridiculously complicated thing, I think. Either that or I'm just stupid. It could be either or. I don't know. Both are good options. Either way, yeah, it is definitely possible if you stack enough resistance to get resistances to specific statuses. And if you're having particular problems with statuses, yikes, or yeah, can I get out of here? I can't. I'm trapped by spikes. I'm trapped by spikes. Oh god. Run away. If you're having particular problems with statuses, like I say on Compound 42, fire is actually going to be more important than actually dealing with the enemies. You will get hit by enemies, I suppose, and they will hurt because you're going to be possibly wearing the wrong armor, but like I say, if I were to wear my fire-resistant armor, I actually don't have piercing resistance on those, so it's the wrong armor for the job. But if you can get the right status, you'll survive a lot longer because you will be resistant to fire. And there we go, I'm dead. Whoopsie! I do believe, I think it's is it the volcanic salamanders supposed to, I think that's pretty good against Compound 42, but, and I'm tempted to make that set. It's obviously got fire resistance and piercing resistance, but I'm dubious about making an entire armor set just for one danger mission. It's like, how often could I possibly ever do Compound 42 that I would need an entire armor set just for it? The answer is I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it anywhere near often enough. And there's no point to it at all. If you're dedicated, yes. I am not that dedicated. I know I need more armor sets. I'm pretty lacking in the armor department. I've crafted myself lots of weapons and never made many armors, so I'm lacking in that regard. I'll have that one. Why not? In that vein, in another segue, someone else asked, who is it? Strode SK asks, hey Meroka, how long does it take for you to make a new 5-star weapon? Someone else answered that kind of in the comments, but again, I'm not sure, is that a general how long does it take to make one, or is it how long does it take me personally to make one? I initially interpreted this as almost like a critique of, Jesus Christ, Meroka, you've been carrying the same weapons around for a bloody long time. How long does it take you to make a weapon? It seems to take you a really long time. I make them when I feel like it. It doesn't take me particularly long, as evidenced in Apocrypha, because I managed to make 2 weapons in 2 weeks, and the bulk of the work involved in that is because they need heating up under the new bloody forge system. Previously it was a lot faster. Now you can only gain one per level, and then you can only heat it up after the level if there's an arsenal station at the end of the level as well. So yeah, it takes a little bit longer than it used to heat stuff up. So that's the worst part of leveling stuff up these days. otherwise, yeah, I've got a fair few orbs. I've got enough orbs to serve my nefarious ends. And I just dashed onto some spikes. Aren't I a clever one? Yes, yes I am. So yeah, I'm not too... I think I'm lacking in advanced orbs at the minute, but other than that, I'm not too bad. It's okay. So, okay, let's see. Let's kill the yes man before we kill those guys, because then he won't turn into an overtimer. Okay. Again, hierarchy, I don't know. They're all... Okay. So he was his boss... Wait, what? No, yeah. And then he turned into an ordinary one and got buffed by a different one. Okay. Sure, why not? Seriously, would you all stop transforming? There we go. So if I set my mind to making an item, I've got most of the resources needed. I've got bloody loads of shining crystals. I've got, for the most part, most of the orbs I need. If I don't, I've got money and I can buy them. I've advocated before, there is absolutely no issue whatsoever with straight up simply turning crowns into energy and using those energies to buy orbs. It's not an invalid strategy. It's how it used to work. It's how it still can work. You don't have to grind for orbs. So if I want to buy, and I buy the energy to buy the orbs in order to craft the item, I can and will do that. I have no qualms about doing that. So if I want to go down that route, if I decide today I'm going to make an item, I will do. I just don't often decide to make items. If you want to ask in general, how long does it take to make an item? Depends. Like I say, if you've been playing the game for 2 years and are at end game and are grinding content a fair amount of time, people who play the game more than me have absolutely no issue whatsoever making new gear. It's downright trivial for those guys. Guys who put in dozens and dozens of hours every week and are grinding Vanaduke and other high payout missions all the time just for funsies, they have the resources to just throw out an item and go, okay, I want this item, boom, made. Me, I have to put a little bit of time in, but not too much. It depends on your playstyle at endgame. If you're making your first 5-star item and you're doing it free to play without buying any energy or anything, that's going to take you a while. Probably less time than it used to. I remember my first Dread Venom Striker, my first 5-star item, that took me about a month of free to play playing. This was under the Mist Energy system as well, don't forget, so I could only do 10 levels a day, and I played as much as I could. I probably didn't use up the full 100 energy every day, but I played as much as I could. It took me about a month to get that Dread Venom Striker. With the new mission system, and it gets you a few resources, and it's probably less difficult than it used to be honest. I've no idea how many Eternal Orbs they pay out. Let's have a quick nosy at those. They might give you a bit of a boosty on that one. Because certainly in the old days you had to buy the energy, so you were grinding the crowns to buy 800 energy in order to use that 700 into 100 mist, to use that 800 mist, 800 energy, in order to, that gets you sparks of life, in order to, you know, radiant fire crystals, radiant fire crystals, radiant fire crystals, sparks. No, I don't think they're going to be generous, are they? This is good to know for Nimcha, because I'm going to need a lot of... Oh, there's one, so yeah, they give you a few... Yeah, your first piece is actually going to be... You're going to get to it relatively easily, I suppose. Before you get to Arcus, at any rate. Cool. So you'll definitely have one 5-star piece reasonably easily. Probably won't take you a month to make if you're just burning through the missions like a normal person. Yeah, back in the day that took a bit of a grind. Like I say, you had to get 800 energy together in order to craft that first piece, and just doing that with crowns alone took a little while. It did. It took quite a while. So that was, after that first piece, that was the point at which I was like, okay, so this game isn't really that viable as free to play. I'm gonna have to buy some energy. And being the employed person that I was, I just bought a little bit of energy and ta-da! Woo! That was it. I could make items again. So that's That's how long it takes to make items. Anywhere between a month and not very long at all. So, thank you very much for watching. I have been Meroka. This has been Spiral Knights Reloaded. And if you do have any questions or things to talk about, please leave them in the comments below. If you've asked questions before, do not feel afraid to ask another one. I do not object to this thing. If you have more questions, please ask away. There are no issues with that whatsoever. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this video, please. That helps me out a lot. And subscribe if you're not already, because I make a lot more content every day. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Meroka, and I shall see you next time.